And we're live with Bobby Martin's in the house.
What's going on, Derrick?
Good to see you, man.
Always good to be here on your show.
Great to have you here. Was the last time you were here for the great EXP debate?
No, I've been here a couple more times doing some listing pitches and stuff like that.
Okay,
so,
cool.
But yeah, we've been here a few more times.
That was an epic situation. Really cool. EXP had just sort of kind of landed here in San Diego, so we're going to talk about EXP today.
Yep.
You recently released a video on your personal page and on your business page, Martin's Realty Group, where you forecasted real estate for 2020. You also gave top realtor gimmicks, which I'd love if you could drop a few of those for us today before we get into some of the other stuff. And also a little market update and some other cool stuff that you guys have going on. So, as far as these gimmicks are concerned, these are things I'm constantly preaching, you know? You have some really good ones. If you could just give us, one or two, or however many you feel comfortable with, just as a teaser so we can send people over to Martin's Realty Group to get the whole video.
So basically, we have to, the consumer has to remember, we as realtors, we have a fiduciary duty to protect them. Okay, and some realtors, not all. I don't want to bash my industry. I love this. Most of the realtors out there, they do it the right way. But there are a handful of agents that love gimmicks. One of them is the guaranteed sale program. I guarantee I'll sell your house at your price, or I'll sell it for free within 30 days.
Whoa!
So think about that. That's the at your price.
At my price?
Yeah, which is interesting that they would choose to put that in there. But what they don't say is that they're going to grind you down to basically tell you that this is the price, and it's always a lower price. And so you have to ask yourself, do you want to start a relationship based off of a lie?
So it's a bait and switch.
It's a bait and switch. There's a lot of bait and switches happening. The other big thing that I'm seeing right now is you have a lot of people walking into a house and they got their investor cap on. A lot of agents are walking in with their investor cap, and they say to the owner, "Oh, you don't want to put this on the MLS. I can sell this to one of my investors. I could have 5 investors over here and have you 5 offers in 2 days. How would you like that?" That is the biggest bull crap out there. I don't.
We almost got him to cuss.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Almost. We're on the internet.
Is this
totally,
cable? Okay.
Totally okay.
So for me, I've always been in the best interest of the client. Back in 2008 through 2011, I did a ton of short sales, ton of REOs, and I always get those calls. "Hey, Bobby, you can triple end this listing. Let me buy it. I want to buy all your listings." And I could have made a boatload of money, but I always said, that's not in the best interest of the client. And for many, many reasons, and we, don't need to go all into it now, but it's never in the best interest of the client to do that. And so,
Why do you think the agents do that? Just quick money?
It's quick money. Sometimes the investors are paying for their marketing to get that listing in the first place.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, but it really just comes down to money. And there are certain situations where maybe it would benefit the seller to not put it in the MLS. Like, for example, maybe half the house is burned down. Well, that's going to be a little difficult to sell that to an end user buyer. That's probably going to be an investor. Hoarder, another situation. They may say, "Hey, I don't want anybody in my house." And so, but in those situations, I've always talked people into putting it on the MLS, getting, even if it's 1 or 2 days of showings and then shutting it off, and then you get those offers. So I'm a big believer in that stuff. The other thing too is, you see this a lot these days. I'll list your house for 1%. Well, it's not really listing it for 1%. They're listing it for 3.5% because there's a 2.5% buyer fee. So, but the ad is nice and big. List for 1%. Call me. Then they call. They come over. And then they do the bait and switch.
They're really listing it for 3.5%.
Really listing it for 3.5%. And so again, you have to ask yourself, do you want to work with someone who's just straightforward and doesn't do all the gimmicks, or do you want to work with someone who's basing their whole business plan off of a bait and switch or a lie?
Deceit.
Yeah.
Beginning the relationship with deceit.
And if they're going to do that on that issue, what else will they do later?
That's true.
And that's really the heart of the problem is, how are they going to perform for you later on? And, we got 22,000 agents in San Diego. There's a lot of, agents and realtors out there. So, I think that the consumer has a lot of good options to pick. So go after the ones that are just straightforward and don't do the gimmicks.
It's funny because I just released a video on Smarter San Diego page called "The Smarter Way to Buy a Home in San Diego," and one of the subsidiary videos of that is how to select a realtor in San Diego, or how to select a real estate agent. It uses the word realtor, but how to select a real estate agent in San Diego.
Did you put my website there? That'd be a great place to start.
There is a cheat in that video. There's a cheat. If you stay and you watch it long enough, there is a cheat in there, and you may have something to do with that. But yeah, so the reality is that it is a super important. The whole purpose of me creating that video, I'm about to record it. I've got all the slides ready to go. Is that it makes a difference in your success, whether you're selling or buying, who you're represented by. And a lot of people aren't really sure. Well, how do I search? Where do I go? What do I look up? What questions do I ask? What are the things I should pay attention to? How do I determine if someone's really being honest with me?
Yeah.
And I cover all that in this video, which I'm going to record this week. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, I can't wait to see it. The last gimmick I want to cover real quick is the EyeBuyer Program. That's what's in the industry. That's industry lingo, and there's big money coming from all kinds of banks. Providing funding for some of the largest portals, and they're now buying houses. So the same portal that used to influence the value of a home is now coming in and saying, "I want to buy your home." And so to me that's a little tricky because first off, the fees are unbelievable, 7 to 9% in fees. So they say, "Oh, sell your house with no commission," but we're going to do a transaction fee of 7 to 9%, which is much higher than
convenience fee.
It's convenience fee. That's right. So that's a program to really watch out for. And again, if someone's coming in leading with that, what I try to do is I say, are you looking for a fast sale or are you looking to sell for top dollar? And you know me, I'm all about selling at top dollar. You and I have had many conversations about that. And I believe you can sell at top dollar in one weekend of showings if you do it right. And so it doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out process, which is what these portals are basically, selling to homeowners. They're like, "Oh, you don't want to have to show your house for 90 days, 60 days. That's a pain. You want to go buy this other house." Well, there's other things. There's 7 different ways to move up and move down. And so one of the things that drives me crazy too is some of these people are giving money up front before closing. So what they're doing is they're taking advantage of the people that need the money right now. Because why would you do that? Why would you want to work with a company that's going to do that? Because you're low on cash.
The company is going to the seller and saying, "We're going to give you some of your proceeds ahead of time."
Yes.
The ultimate golden handcuff. Now you're stuck with our terms, basically.
Exactly. And so quick sale. They say we'll close on your timetable and everything like that. But it's ultimately I can see what kind of buyer or what kind of seller is doing that program, and it's someone who just needs the cash. So I just don't believe in that. There's other options out there, so I think it's better to work with local realtors. That's the other thing too. When you're working with a lot of these portals or you're finding your realtor based off of sites like HomeLight and Zillow and things like that, you're basically sending your money to other states.
That's
instead
true.
of keeping that money here locally with your local realtor who's here. And that's the other thing with our industry. We're shifting. We're not just selling a home anymore. We're basically moving concierge. We're helping you with the whole thing to make sure that the process goes smooth. I have great movers in place. I have the whole process dialed in. But we have a concierge program that basically helps everybody with their move. And that to me, that's where realtors can really present the value. And commissions have come down. Everything it's more reasonable now. The days of 6%, which again those I sell your house for 1% guys. They say don't pay 6%. Who's paying 6% these days? It's like again it's based off a lie. So that's just not the kind of business I want to run. And so all of the agents that I coach and train, I'm teaching them to do it the right way because I think we got these younger agents coming up through the system. They need to know how to do it the right way, and so I'm really focused on that too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, and I want to talk about that today too. An update on EXP. So I think that was almost 2 years ago. Was it? Or
it was actually I think it was like mid to late February. is when we did the EXP debate, if I
Okay,
recall.
so almost 2 years.
Yeah, so.
It's almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You came up here, we debated, we had the whole thing,
Yeah.
we totally broke the internet on that one
Man.
multiple times.
They were almost throwing chairs at me from the audience. It was crazy. I thought it was like WWF.
We had the in-studio audience asking questions, and everyone was so mad at you. You know, and this is what happens with, you know, when new things come in. I think that the new big thing now in real estate has been Compass, right? They've really come in and made a big splash, and they have their way of doing things. EXP very different. Other options out there. There's a lot of different options, right, for realtors, but EXP has continued to grow and been really interesting to watch and pay attention to. I've been watching the stock closely, watching the numbers. The agents are growing significantly. What has there been anything in the past couple years that has been a surprise for you in EXP?
There's so many things. The first is definitely the access to the leadership. I mean, I talk to the founder on a regular basis, the CEO, you know, it's Glenn Sanford and Jason Gessing, two of the best leaders in the industry, the nicest people, most open people that you can talk to, and their vision for where this company is going and where real estate is going is exactly on point with what I believe. And so that's been really just a game changer for me. I mean, I've been able to have a lot of access with them where other companies never had any access. There was no way to have access, you know, but our systems are really, it's an open access system. I mean, I can send them a message in our workplace chat, which is just like Facebook Messenger, and we use Workplace, which is just like Facebook. And that system has been unbelievable for referrals, which is probably the biggest thing that has been, I've been blown away. Yesterday I got a guy that says, gave me 9 parcels to sell, so lots, you know, and the week before I got a $1.7 million referral. You know, in the last like 6 weeks, I've gotten like 6 or 7 referrals from agents across the country for myself. But then the bigger thing is I'm a giver, man. I love to give. And so I'm watching out for my partners in other markets. And when I see in a referral group, someone says, hey, I'm looking for an agent in San Francisco, which, by the way, Martin's Realty Group is now in San Francisco.
Dang.
We've got a great guy up there that we've partnered up with. And so I'm plugging in, I'm getting him connected, and then now he's getting referrals. And just the other day, a new partner in Florida, I got him a great referral. So that's been really the game changer. Is, you know, we're at a size where we're not so big that nobody knows each other. Like it feels like a small company, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Because when I started, we were just at 7,000. Now we're at 27,000.
Wow.
And
I know I've been watching the growth. I've been reporting it. You know, it's the publicly traded company.
Yep.
What about, you know, I know one of the things with EXP that's different about it is, you know, you can recruit, you can build a team, you can get some passive income, if you will. That was something when you came up here to do the debate, you had checks, you know, from people. Is that something that has worked out to be true?
Oh, yeah. I mean, every month, honestly, I look at it and I go, there's no way that next month is going to be as big as this one. And then lo and behold, it's either the same or it's bigger. And so it's been just unbelievable, you know, just to have that kind of passive income. You know, we have to work for it. I mean, as a sponsor of somebody, you know, I put in a lot of time and effort. I'm coaching people. I'm helping people. You know, just last night I was helping a newer agent, you know, write up an offer. You know, we did a Zoom call. I got to see a screen. I helped him, you know, make sure everything was perfect with his offer. And, you know, he's sending that off, a $2.6 million offer, and he's super excited, you know, and he's going to be able
I would like to have Bobby help me write that offer too.
Oh, yeah. I definitely know my stuff when it comes to the offers. And so that, you know, that's been the biggest game changer for me, just as the network, the family. I mean, you know, there's people that I have no connection to me whatsoever, and they send me referrals, and they, you know,
that's
like
bonkers.
it's really crazy because, you know, ultimately everybody wants, you know, the best for their client and the best for the company, and so it's just it's a real family. So I've been super excited about that.
You left, and this was such a big deal to me because I was like, I wanted to see how this was going to play out.
Me too.
Thing. You know, like, is this going to stick? You know, does it have staying power?
Yeah.
Because it's a sexy thing, you know, to talk about, but does all this stuff going to actually work and so forth? Because you left the number one office from the number one company in the world.
Yeah.
Right? The
Yeah.
number one office in the area
Yeah.
for the number one company, or the biggest
Yeah,
company.
like you said, people thought people thought it was crazy. They were like, what is he doing?
It seemed crazy, Bob.
It seemed a little crazy to me, but I talked to the right people. I saw the system, and quite frankly, I was waiting for something like this that would revolutionize the business. And now, I mean, here we are 2 years later, and in San Diego, we have some of the top talent that have come over, and that's just in San Diego.
Did I see Pete Middleton recently?
Pete Middleton, yeah, baby.
He went to EXP.
Pete,
Wow.
yeah. So
That's a
Pete,
big deal,
what's
man.
crazy about that is Pete and I got to work together as my start in real estate. My first 3 years in the business, he was my mentor, and so that's one thing that's been really cool having him come over. I converted a brokerage in Las Vegas. The guy who I saw get into real estate at the age of 20. I was 20 years old. I looked, I was like, I think I could do that job. And I admired this guy like you would not believe. He's the creme de la creme of people, like just the nicest, cheerful guy, takes care of people the right way. And that's Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy. Big shout out to him. And I saw him get into the business, and now he's with us, and he brought about 45 people from his brokerage. A brokerage that he put his blood, sweat, and tears into. He basically left that and came here, and he's loving it. He's a big part of our company now, and so that's one thing that's really great. All of us get to work together again, and
that's cool, man.
So it's a really a cool system.
I heard a rumor that you picked up some hardware recently.
Oh my God, dude! I gotta say, I'm super stunned because I didn't expect this. It was definitely on my vision board of us getting something like this at some point, but definitely want to share.
Let's see it.
This just in 2 years.
Let me
time.
see that guy.
Where we got here? Look at that. That is the Brokerage of the
Another
Year,
shot.
EXP Realty. Super excited. There you go.
I'll give you the look at this guy. Just so you know, we're not making stuff up here. Just so I don't have any shoes on. There it is. Can we get some focus on this thing? Brokerage of the Year, 2019.
Back a little bit
further. There you go. So you can see. See, everything's opposite right now. So that's why I'm struggling. 2019 EXP Realty. This is San Diego MLS SDAR Brokerage of the Year 2019 EXP Realty. So that's pretty cool, man. Now, how does a brokerage get that award? Is that something that is?
So basically, it's kind of just like Realtor of the Award. Realtor of the Year. Basically, you got people voting in it. It comes down to transaction count. It comes down to just the overall growth of the company, which, when I started, there was just a few people. And now we are at 425 agents in San Diego in 2 years. And, so I'm blown away by it because there are some great brokerages here in San Diego.
Sure.
And, this is not, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, EXP is better than everybody and everybody else sucks. That's not what I'm saying ever. I admire a lot of the other agents from these other brokerages, but I hope that they all understand one thing. EXP makes every other brokerage better for them at their brokerage because their brokerage has to compete for their business.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing because we are really the first agent-centric company where, we're the customer of EXP Realty because EXP Realty knows that as a brokerage, it's us in the field that does the work for the client. It doesn't have anything to do with the brokerage. The brokerage does absolutely nothing when it comes to servicing clients. So it's all about giving us the best compensation plan that allows us to basically give the best service and best compensation or professional fee and cost structure for the client. So this couldn't be happier. I mean, just everything that has happened over the last 2 years has just, there's been some setbacks. It wasn't always pretty. It was hard the first year, adjusting to everything. But man, now it's just it's very, very smooth sailing.
Would you be open, and put you on the spot here, to the great EXP debate 2? Would you be open to that? Putting you on the spot right now.
I'm always open to anything. Obviously, I have nothing to hide with this company. I think it is the best company in in the world for real estate agents. So I have no problem doing anything.
Oh, he said yes. We got it right here.
I didn't say yes, but I will say yes.
He did. That's awesome. Okay, so I have one more phone call to make today, and we can book that.
Well, if I remember last time, you had to make a lot of phone calls because nobody wanted to debate.
That's actually true.
And I do remember that was a very difficult thing, and you actually had to call people out on Facebook about it. But
I did have to actually.
Yeah,
I remember that now. I had actually had to have a long conversation with everyone. No one wanted a piece of it, man.
Yeah.
It was a time where no one really knew what was going on, and the EXP sales points were so sexy. It was a tough tall order. Tell me about Next Gen Real Estate Coach. What is this? Is this something that is inside of EXP? Is this something that is
it's a separate company that I'm launching. It's not out yet, but it's going to be nextgenrealestatecoach.com is the website, and it's going to be a whole training program that basically puts the client, the customer, at the center of the transaction, and agents understanding that they are the most important part of the transaction, and so we have to take care of them. And here's the problem that I see with a lot of real estate companies. The coaches or the broker owners, they haven't sold real estate in 2 decades. They're not in the field every single day like I am. I mean, I work 6 days a week. I am in it. And not only am I in it, but I'm networking with all of the top agents throughout the country. Aaron Taylor out in Las Vegas, 5,000 homes sold. So I spent 3 days out there following him around, learning every single piece of things that made him successful. And his is almost all referral based. He does a lot of radio ads and stuff, but his business really flourishes off of the referrals, and that's what I'm all about too. I love it when past client of mine calls me up and says, "Hey, Bobby, it's time to move." It's like, and I'm not one to harass them all the time. I'm, I try to give people their space. I don't want to sell them anything. I want to be there as an advisor when they're ready. And so with this program, it's going to really, I hope that, a lot of younger agents, and that's why it's next gen. Older agents, they're hard to coach. They have their set ways of doing things, and I look at the 20-something and the 30-something. I just love being around their energy. I think the world of a lot of these kids, like millennials and stuff.
People that are going to
they
crush.
Are not lazy. That is such a misstatement to say.
They just have to believe in what they're doing. That's the problem. So when people say that millennials are lazy, the problem is they just don't buy in. They don't just say, "Okay, cool, I'm going to go just do this because this is what you guys expect of me." They're not like that. They need to really believe in something. They really need to know that they're doing the right thing. Those things are really important. However, give them those things and then turn them loose and watch. They'll get after it, but they need those things. They won't just say, "Okay, we'll march this direction and make your living," and then they're not into that.
Well, the biggest thing that I see that is a problem is it's all like for a lot of these younger kids out there. I shouldn't say kids, younger agents. Their brokers telling them internet leads, internet leads, internet leads. Well, internet leads are closed 100 to 1. A referral, you're closing almost every time, and so relationships will trump any technology any day of the week. I use a ton of technology in my business to enhance my business, but it will never take the place of the relationship, and the trust that you get. Because when someone feels like, "Hey, this guy's got my back and he's not selling me," then it's like they feel so much more relaxed, and now they can actually shop for homes. But when someone's out there pounding them, "Hey, you want to buy this one? It's already got 2 offers. You want to put in an offer?" That is not the way you want to be.
Here's my biggest issue with that, and the trouble is, if someone builds their business off of internet leads, they kind of become a hammer, and then everyone's a nail, right? Because if they do well with it, they have to be a hammer, and then everyone's a nail, including the referral. And so everyone kind of feels that. What do you think about this? This is something that came up recently with an agent who said that their broker was not allowing them to do a certain person. They had to. get a certain commission. They couldn't drop it down for a client or for a friend or family. So certain brokerages have rules about that. Is there rules like that at EXP?
Do you mind maybe connecting me with that agent? Because I'd love to talk to him.
Okay.
There are no rules when it comes to that. Every agent is pretty much able to do what they want within reason. I mean, we don't want to be selling every home for $500 or anything like that. Nobody's doing that. But it's, we are independent contractors, and, commission is a negotiable thing, and so, yeah, you can definitely.
Okay. And then what do you think about this? This is one thing I noticed about the market recently. So I've been looking at a lot of homes for people, a lot of different buyers, full disclosure, NMLS 155010. I've been looking for a lot of homes for buyers. A lot of times people don't realize what's possible. So I'll just do a little searching for them online. One of the things I seem to notice, especially in the lower price point, like let's say 500,000 to 600,000, a lot of those homes that are on the market are flips.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of flips, which is usually kind of red flaggish.
Yeah.
So I want to get your quick forecast for 2020 to see, are you as optimistic as most people seem to be about the next few years for San Diego real estate?
So that goes back to our earlier thing about the gimmicks and, the realtors coming in with the investor cap on, and instead of that property hitting the MLS and an end user buying it, a flipper is buying it, and then they're putting lipstick on it and then throwing it out there. Now, don't get me wrong, some flippers are awesome. They do a great job. I don't mind some of this because, you look at it and you say, okay, well, if I'm a millennial, I don't have maybe the money to buy that crappy house and fix it up, but I have the money for a down payment and and can buy it. So some of it's okay, but it has to, again, it has to go back to if the agent's coming in and asking the right question. If someone's like, hey, I need this gone tomorrow, then that's a better situation to do a flip. But if they have time, then the advice should be, well, I think we should put this on the open market. And so as far as the forecast goes, we are record low inventory right now. And, I was on my way here talking with a buyer, and, brand new listing, 1 day of showings on Sunday. It was a 3-hour window. They already have multiple offers on it. We looked at the comps. It's probably 20,000, 30,000 more than the comps where their list price is, and they're going to get it. And so as a buyer in this market, especially right now, February and March, you probably should jump on one of these, because by the time May comes around, it might be 60,000, 70,000 over, because, you and I were talking before we started here, rates are unbelievable. You locked a 2.75.
2.75.
That's amazing.
Yesterday.
That's unbelievable.
VA,
and
yeah.
So that kind of stuff, it tickles my heart to hear that, because again, it's all about the consumer. I want to see consumers get the best overall deal, and something like that. I mean, it's a no-brainer, because even if for some reason the everything falls out and you need to move somewhere else, maybe you lose your job, well, you can rent it. And now you have a great asset in a city that, look behind you. This is the best city in the world. I've lived here since I was 8. Where else would you want to live in the United States of America than San Diego?
Man, I've been everywhere, everywhere, all over the world. I'm always excited to come back home.
Me too. I love flying in daytime where you see everything. It's just like, I'm home.
Yes, this is the best place on earth. The energy here. We just had back-to-back family visiting from Missouri, and everyone says the same thing. They say, it just feels different here. Mm-hmm. It feels
Well, the people are nicer too. Like if you go up to LA, you go up to San Francisco, and not to bag on them, there's some nice people up there.
Are there?
There are. A few. But down here, it's like I always hear the same thing. Like especially my friends who live up there in those two cities, they always say every time I come to San Diego, everyone's so nice. They're not used to it.
Right.
And so that's maybe it has something to do with the weather. The sun seems to be always out.
It was the sweet spot in the universe. It is just this vortex of amazing, all in one place.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper than those places you're mentioning. Like.
Yeah.
It's much, much cheaper than Los Angeles, much, much cheaper than San Francisco, Toronto, New York City.
And our job market is actually competing with those guys now. People from San Francisco and LA are coming down here in droves. The businesses are coming down here too. I mean, we've really come a long, long way. And so it's not that, sleepy, beach town anymore. And the other thing, the biggest change I've seen over San Diego is the multiple industries. we used to be just defense. So if you started doing defense cuts, then guess what? You had a recession in San Diego. Well, if they do a defense cut now, it almost doesn't matter because all of the other industries will hold it up.
Technology, biotech is here. There's a lot of software here too. A ton of software development going on here. We're becoming sort of a mini, Palo Alto, if you will, here in San Diego. A lot of those companies are actually coming down here because, like, you know what? Actually, the weather's way better.
Yeah.
Was it Mark Twain? Someone told me this quote recently. He said something the coldest day he ever experienced was a summer day in San Francisco or something like that. It's so dramatically better, the weather. And so, like, if you're going to be in California, if you're going to be on the West Coast, come to the southern piece, man. Nothing wrong with Orange County or LA. I mean, it's more expensive. Coming out of San Diego, San Diego's on sale. It is a bargain. The world has recognized that. I'm as bullish as I probably have ever been for San Diego.
Me too.
State.
And you look at 2010 compared to 2020, and I don't know about you, but I have been just through the roof with energy because I feel this next decade is going to be amazing.
It's the golden years for San Diego.
I don't think, like if a recession happens, it's going to be a tiny recession, and it's only going to be by the numbers. There's not going to be a lot of pain from a recession that happens, in my opinion. It's not going to be 20-30% drop-offs in values or anything like that. So I think we have some good years ahead of us. It's this run-up that we've had over the last 9 years has been a great run-up, but if you look at the last quarter of every year, dip. So it hasn't been 20-30% gains every year
steady.
We saw in 2002 to 2006, where it was like 25-30% gains every single year. So I definitely see a good year ahead of us. I think rates will continue to go down.
I do too.
Or stabilize. And if they stabilize right here, I mean, that's good times. I think it's the year of the move up and move down buyer. The people who need to make a move. And that's why I wanted to talk about the gimmicks. Don't sell your house to an iBuyer just because you need a fast sale. There's other options. There's 7 different ways to move up and move down, and we can help people with that. This is something that we do free planning sessions with all of our sellers and really map out a game plan to make sure that they know exactly what they need to do.
That's awesome. Bobby Martins, thank you so much for coming in, man. It's
Yeah.
great to see you, brother.
Thank
Congrats
you.
on the award and everything with EXP. Hey, share this with your friends. Let's make them smarter than everyone else about making decisions for their real estate here in San Diego. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you again soon.